Hey guys, welcome back to Real Estate Uncensored. We have an insanely awesome guest, Miss Shelby Johnson. She just got married, and guys, she may or may not be Matt's long lost wife. We will discuss that later in the show. But I have Mr. Nick Sakis, Mr. Gene Volpe. They're going to be dropping hammer. Shelby's going to talk about something at the very end that you guys have got to stick around for because it will blow your mind in regards to how she got where she is today in 3 years. And you haven't even heard where she is yet. Before we get to her success story, Mr. Nick Sakis, how are you, the ever shrinking man?
What's up, buddy? I'm doing pretty good because, pre-show, Shelby's one of those people that you meet who is an absolute fucking crushing skull rock star and just talks about things like it's no big deal. So our challenge on this episode is going to be to pull all the jewels of wisdom out of that brain of hers because she thinks that everything that she's done is no big deal. And I can tell you just from the 5 minutes of pre-show that it's a very big deal, and you all need to pay attention to what this beautiful young lady has to say.
Yeah, that's not a joke. And she's got a hell of a personality. One more person to introduce, and then it's on to the star of the show. Oh, fuck him. Let's just move to the star. Okay. Oh, Gene Volpe, the evil bald ninja.
No. You should have said one more person to introduce, and then we get to the star. Shelby, how are you? That's what you should have said. You screwed that up. Oh my God. Sakis is all full of piss and vinegar today. I don't know if it's having a pretty lady on the show. Like he's all.
I don't. Maybe I feel very threatened right now. That's probably it.
What? Yeah. That you're not the only pretty lady in the real estate.
I was waiting for that comment. All right. So without ado, we have got to get to the prettiest lady on the show.
Oh my God.
Miss Shelby Johnson, how are you? Welcome. We've heard everything great about you. So dazzle our listeners with your incredible accomplishments.
Oh my gosh. Wow. First of all, thanks for having me. You guys are all batshit crazy. That I know for sure.
True. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So about me, I was in the Army for 6 years and I got out in the beginning of 2018 to do real estate full-time as an investor and as an agent. And my first year, I was the Keller Williams Rookie of the Year for all of North and South Carolina and closed 48 deals as a solo agent and acquired a slew of rental properties. And over the next 3 years, built out a team and I was up to 74 rentals. And now I have 125 people in my my network, 5 Pillars Nation. And I have a Pints and Properties and a real estate investors meetup that's nationwide in 22 different cities. So, dude, okay, so that's the thing with business though. Like people like put out all like the stats and whatever, and it sounds really great. We all know business is fucking hard, So like nothing is ever as good as it sounds, but I'm excited to share anything you want with whatever you want to do.
Yeah, Nick, you nailed it on the head times 100. She's so cavalier about it. Like, it's no big deal. I did
all
this
these rental properties. I got all these agents across the country that mastermind with me. Keller Williams Rookie of the Year, my first year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's what people do. That's what normal people do, right? They get in the business. They've never sold a house. They sell 50 their first year. They build a huge conglomerate nationwide, a giant investing portfolio in like the time it takes normal people to go to college and drink beer for 4 years. Like that, whatever.
I'm still drinking beer. Listen, I think it's hilarious. She went like this. You guys are all out of your fucking minds. I was in the Army for 6 years. I'm like, what? How do those two statements go together? We're crazy.
Yeah.
We're crazy.
I'm also crazy.
All right. So my question, so I have, first of all, thank you for serving. I have a lot of friends who are in the military.
Thanks for your support.
Seriously, that's not banter. That's for real. We love our military.
Cool.
The thing is, people who go through the military, it doesn't matter what division of military, right? You end up with a unique set of skills. And I think it's the biggest skill that I've found anyway with people that I know that are in the military of systems and implementation. So that's why when we title this $1 million systems and implementation, because you listen to podcasts like us, you listen to us bullshit about Facebook ads and YouTube ads, and you should be doing video and all this crap about things that you should be doing. But then you feel good about listening to the video podcast and you go, oh, I forgot about this 2 days later. I never actually implemented anything. So I would like you to tell us and the listeners and everybody, like, how did you take your military experience? Because I know there's a direct correlation there. I'm sure of it. If I'm not, whatever, there'll be egg on my face. But like, there's got to be a direct correlation. If you get out of the military and you get into real estate, You probably have a 30-day period where you're like, oh shit, what do I do? And then you're like, okay, I'm just going to implement this system and that system and this system, and then just do the thing.
Yeah.
And it's boring work, but it works. So
Yes.
give me a little insight as to how your brain works when it comes to how did you see that and what did you actually implement and do?
Dude, it's so funny because at the time when I was getting out of the military and into real estate, I had no idea how much of what I was doing every day would directly correlate into building an actual business. The first thing more than anything is like in the military, no is not an option. So if like you're told to do something or you have to figure something out and someone tells you no, like, okay, fine, how am I going to make it work? And that like mindset going into real estate in the beginning of like, there has to be an answer almost with like your back against the wall, like the fear of God flowing within you every day is really, really powerful. That's not related to systems though. It's just a mindset in general. So in the military, I was a battalion S1, which means that I was essentially the HR, which it's different. Civilian world and military world, HR means different things. But I was in charge of the administrative operations for 700 dudes who did not give a fuck about like my job at all. Because they're all like field artillery or infantry and they're going like to deployments into the field and all that stuff. So there was like a million different moving parts and keeping track of all of those parts, following up with them and creating standard operating procedures were all things that you had to do in order to survive. And that perfectly correlates to year one as an agent, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, that's absolutely.
Because nobody cares about real estate agents and what you do and what you can do for them until it's the right time. So that's like
exactly.
You took what? How many dudes did you say you were in charge of?
700.
Okay, so you took 700 dudes in the military and turned it into 700 real estate clients, like
Dude,
initially, right, or more.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. So not in the beginning, of course, but
Right.
over time, yeah. And then another big piece too was the calendar. So a lot of agents starting out like don't necessarily believe in the power of the calendar, but I was managing not only my own calendar, but also the battalion commander, the sergeant major, and which means probably nothing to you guys, but, and
big,
the
big important people,
and like
okay.
the training calendar of the organization. So like I believed in the calendar, in, setting reminders, in inviting all the people to the event, making sure everyone's on the same page, communicating at all different levels. So yeah, I mean, now looking back, I'm like, duh, the fucking 6 years in the Army was like money that I didn't, realize.
So I'm going to go back to something that you said right off the bat that is very important, that I think everybody really needs to hear again. And that there's a 2-letter word that's completely unacceptable in your world, both professionally and in the military. What's that funky little, super powerful, terribly, terribly scary word? What's that 2-letter word that you've overcome?
I think it's no.
That you have thought correctly. So yes, the word no, it holds power because we give it power. If you say no, you can't do it. Well, okay, why? There's a guy who wrote a book. His name is Jia Jing. Done a couple of interviews with him, and he in his book he goes around for 100 days and tries to be told no, and that took away all the power from it. And the same thing with you, the word no holds no power. It's like, okay, it's a word. It's like saying, hey, can I list your house? And someone says coffee cup. You're like, okay, great. What does that mean? Are we going to do business? And you move forward. And you've done that masterfully, both investing, military service, building a business. So what was that? Where did you just decide to say, fuck you, no, I'm not going to let you control my life?
Well, it's really just beat into you in the military when like you're given an order. You can't go and you can't just like turn around and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna. Or if you come back having tried and you say, hey, that's not possible, they just look at you like you're a fucking unicorn horn is growing out of your forehead. Like, are you kidding me? Go away, make it happen, come back once it's done. So I would say that 6 years of like abuse is probably the wrong word, but building a character.
You're making me want to try to join the military in my old age. It sounds like a great time.
Do it. I mean, it fucking creates a human out of it for sure.
Yeah.
Let's break down when you got into the business systems. Nick was touching on that in the beginning. Did you go jump in and try everything, or did you sit down and isolate what you were exceptionally good at and the unique skill sets that you had, and then built off of that and then found people to do the things that you weren't as good at, or things that you didn't like to do, or the things that you would put into plans in the next quarter or 2 quarters or 3 quarters down the road, or the
Yeah.
scalability business plan? Did you put a budget together? Did you just half-ass it and just say, fuck it, throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks? With military, you're going to have a plan. You're going to have a backup plan. They're going to have a redundant for the backup plan. And then you call Gene. And you know what? The world is going to be safe. But how do you start that? Seriously, I'm really curious.
Yeah. So when you're starting out in real estate, you guys know and remember, you literally don't know what the fuck you're doing. You literally have, like, you want to work so bad, but you don't know what to work on. You're like, what do I do? So I felt that way, and it was horrifying. So what I did is I went to my firm leadership and I said, hey, can you tell me who the top 5 people are in our firm? Like, who are the ones who are out there slaying deals? Because in my head, I'm like, they fucking know what they're doing. And so I got that list and I just borderline harassed them. And, they blow you off in the beginning because new agents are a dime a dozen and everyone wants help and everyone wants to pick your brain. But the follow-up is really where it's at. And eventually, like, all I wanted to do, I didn't want them to train me. I just wanted to sit in the car on the way to their listing appointments. I wanted to sit with them on their listing appointments. I wanted to be there when they're talking their client through the repair request and just absorb as much as that, because I figured that would be the most efficient way.
So
right?
smart. So smart.
The people
So
who teach the classes, everyone's like, oh, just go to the class or whatever. Like, in most firms, not that I don't feel that in the organization I'm at now, but in most firms, if they're fucking slaying it out on the streets, they're not going to want to slow down and teach the nice little class. So, like, if I'm going to be most efficient and most effective, I'm going to cut right to the people who know it best.
Mm-hmm. And when you approach them, I think, like Nick was saying, that's absolutely brilliant, and it's one of the best. You use time when you're a new agent and have nothing else to do in life except for a cold call. We don't know cold calls. No one's ever trained you to do the calls or what systems to use and how to do the follow-up. How do I put it in? How do I put it on a follow-up schedule? Laundry list of shit shows going on over there, but you tackled it so wisely. And when you approach a top agent or a second tier or a third tier, someone who's really crushing but has a few minutes to sit down with you, be very clear and concise on what you're going to ask, what you're going to give, and then execute on what they told you to do. Come back and prove to them, and they will sit down and show you the roadmap to success. And I'm fairly certain that, Shelby, you did almost exactly that. Did you not?
What they told me to? Oh, yeah.
Implement what you're told and come back and talk to them. Be 100%. Courteous of their time, and don't.
Exactly.
And when they say try something, don't be like, that won't work. They'll be like, all right, get out of my way.
Well, dude, that's when people are like, and literally, I'm sure you guys get this, where people are like, would you be my mentor? Would you mentor me? No. My instinct, it's like nails on chalkboard. Like, I'm cringing. I'm like, no fucking way am I mentoring you. That is so much time. And the likelihood that you are going to do anything with what I tell you is so low. Like, absolutely not. Yeah. But if it's no extra time, like if you're just going with, or you're just listening in and then you implement and come back and show, I will spend all the time in the world with that person.
Yes. I was the head trainer for my brokerage for 4 or 5 years, and I gave them the numbers, to the layout, the numbers, the schedules, everything I did right in the same marketplace.
Yeah.
Everything. 0.01% did anything with it. But I'm with you. I will spend hours with somebody if they're putting the time in and they're showing they're actually going to grow. So if you guys are growing in the industry, if you want to get to that next level, if you want to expand into a new marketplace, just go rewind the episode, go listen to what Shelby just said, and take action on it. Now, what made you stand out in those conversations when you talked to those agents? What did you do that made those agents go, you know what, this chick's got something. Okay, let's spend some time with her.
I think a lot of it was just with the follow-up, because, they would say no, or more than that, they just ghost. They just don't reply. They just don't reply. But it's just like everything, dude, like the money is in the follow-up. And if you right away, if you're showing that you're persistent enough to follow up with them and value and completely respectable, not like, I don't want anything extra from you. I just want to exist in your presence, then. And I think it's the energy, the urgency, and the follow-up that really made it happen.
Perfect. Gene, how would so you met Shelby. She's gone out. She's met all these top agents. She's got some legs under her now. She's picking up some speed. She's having some fun. She was like, gosh, I really want to take it to the next level. She meets this crazy bald guy named Gene Volpinator. And he's gonna. She comes to you and says, "How can I get my big business bigger? I have a budget of $1,000 a month. What would you tell her to do?"
Just while looking at her Instagram and what's working, I would say go absolutely all in on video. That would be my thing.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna take
100%.
notes. Gene, I'm taking notes.
Yeah, well, listen, look, I get in trouble for this all the time. My wife yells at me all the time. Look, just the reality of it is, if I looked like you and spoke like you, I'd be a billionaire, right? There's no reason that you shouldn't use what the good Lord gave you in a lot of cases, and sometimes that's just your face, right? Like if you're the full package, that's even better. But people want to see. I mean, look, I'll ask the two guys above me in this feed. If you were scrolling through Instagram, are you stopping to listen to me, or you're stopping to listen to her?
Her.
Oh, yeah. Gene, you're out, bro.
Yeah, dude, I can't take that much bald. I mean,
listen, bro, and I don't
I
don't take any offense to what the truth is. You know what I'm saying? So just by default, Shelby, you're just going to get more eyeballs that way. And I mean, I wouldn't make it something that's just absolute overkill. I would find 3 lanes maybe and stick to those 3 lanes, make them look a little differently, but make them pop and make them be entertaining and informative, and just let people know that, hey, this is what I do. Here's why I'm here. What did you call it? Pints and what?
Pints and properties.
Pints and properties. Look, my thing would be every single week I would do an interview with somebody from one of those pints and properties. I would be talking to people on the street about, tell me why you haven't bought a piece of real estate yet. What's holding you back? I mean, there's a million things I could do around that. And then I would every month, what do you do? Once a month?
Oh, yes.
Once a month, I would invite 10 of my friends, real estate related or not. I'm going to buy you some beers, come on out and sit in the back of this thing and just watch what's happening. And then you're going to get one person that's going to go, I've always wanted to do that. I've been scared. That made it seem a little bit easier. Can you help me? Right? Like there's just so much, you have so much firepower in all those things that I just gave you. See that Army reference? Thank you, Nicholas. But that's what I would do. I would double and triple down on video. That's all.
Video. Okay.
Yeah, yep. I would second that. So, Gene, so Shelby, is that something that you want to do?
Dude, I am so torn. So in my first, the really fiery first 3.5 years, when I was doing like all of these closes, building out the team, I was acquiring all these rentals. Like I did a lot more just sharing as I was going. And then I hit this, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but like I hit this like point where I wasn't acquiring any more deals. Like the market changed, right? Yeah. The market changed and I was not closing as an agent. 2 seconds.
Well, she closed the camera. I wasn't closing.
I'm out. Bye. I wasn't closing as an agent. I was like, giving my leads out to the organization, building like the referral business, that whole system. And so then I felt like this time where I had like an identity crisis almost, where it's like, if the Shelby that I was like closing and doing all these things, and like I felt inauthentic to talk about real estate on the internet. All of that to say, I am like trying to figure out if video is like an authentic for. I do believe you. I think that if I could fucking be great at it, but I have to like believe. You know what I mean?
Well, you need the plan. You need the Volpe plan.
I want to tell you what the part of this plan is that you actually outlined, but told me flat to my face that you're sticking away from.
Okay.
Right now.
This is so fun. Okay.
Listen, vulnerability for me and for everyone that's watching right now is the most attractive thing on the internet. Okay. You went through a cycle that everyone in business and their lives go through, but nobody tells you the bad news, right? You have 30 friends that have filed bankruptcy. They're not announcing to the world that they filed bankruptcy, right? Like these are tools that we use to get it through to the other side. You know what I'm saying? In your world at that time, you weren't the only one whose real estate business slowed down. So how do you deal with it? Here's how I deal with it. I go, look, here's what I'm struggling with. And I'm going to walk you through my daily life to show you what it is in my world that gets me back on track. I'm not showing you all the sexy shit because it's not always sexy. There's stuff in there that you're going to trip and fall, get kicked in the balls. I'm going to show you that stuff too. I'm telling you that my biggest videos, aside from the ones that my wife, I was going to say my wife and my kids were in.
Wives.
Oh my
God.
No, I was fast forwarding to my girls, right? So my wife and my girls, they're the best producing videos that that I have. But other than
Greg, I
that,
think he
was
just called
me.
us his wives, bro. I think that's what you
I
really
know,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, the biggest ones that produce for me are the ones where I'm completely vulnerable. I'm showing you the
Yeah.
inside. I'm showing you what it is that's sometimes it's not working. Shelby, I'll tell you this quick story. When there was a couple of years back, and Greg probably knows this because I think Greg called me. But I was sitting on my couch one night.
Oh, I know the story.
Right. This is a great one, right?
I know the story.
I was sitting on my couch one night and I was like a bottle and a half of wine in. And I was like just working and doing some stuff and messing around on the internet. And this guy messages me out of the blue. And it was somebody who had met my sister and we had mutual contacts and he had seen me speak before. And we got into this whole thing about his wife had passed away, giving birth to their 2-year-old at the time.
Yeah.
I think the kid's like 11 now. I don't even know. But it was super emotional and it just hit me in all the feels. So I came downstairs and I did a quick video about sometimes it's just cool to be friendly with people. And this is how it comes around. And I told the story. In the middle of the story, I started crying. So, and I was like, I'm feeling a little buzz. It is what it is. Publish. And I hit it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even thinking. I went to bed. Like it wasn't a big deal. I was just kind of tearing up. And we'll go to bed and I get a couple messages the next day. And then like 2:00 in the afternoon, I get a phone call from my wife. And she's like, something you want to tell me? And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? She's like, I'm getting all these phone calls. Why the fuck are you crying on the internet? What it did though is
I get those phone calls, Gene, too. Not from
I
your
know
wife.
you do. I know.
I
Because I'm
Gene's wife?
from me. But the thing for me was like it opened up a vault that I didn't really realize existed. People said to me multiple times, like, I appreciated that vulnerability. Not that it was like it wasn't earth shattering, but I think you see that. Here's my cufflinks. There's the Mercedes. Look at all the shit I'm doing. But nobody sees when you're getting kicked in the balls, right?
Yeah.
And I think that element of what you said, you were hiding that when I think it's something that people will appreciate and that you have to embrace because it's going to happen.
Listen, I need to go in the opposite direction here. 100% agree with Gene Volpe. Vulnerability. I've done it. It works. Being transparent and honest is a good thing to do.
Yep.
I want to follow Shelby GI fucking Jane. And I want her to tell me exactly what to do in my real estate business or exactly what to do to sell my house in military terms, in a military hat or a military shirt, right? And I want to experience what it's like to be told what to do, because at the end of the day, good marketing is telling people what to do. And if you can correlate that, your experience, your business, with the fact that you were in the military and created a persona of somebody that people would follow. And if you have trainings, guess what? Your trainings are at 1,400 hours, right? They're not at 2:00. Like stuff like that, where it's you could build a whole persona around that. I would take that and fucking run with it.
I'm with Nick. I second that 100%.
I don't hate it. But my argument there was, if there's a time in the G.I. Jane world that things get tight, don't run from it.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. And I love all these ideas. I've taken notes. I hope you guys can't hear it as I'm typing.
We're just doing like a marketing session with Shelby. Just happens to be published live right now. So like, I hope you guys are enjoying this.
The best. So, okay, my question with that then. So like hypothetically, I go like the G.I. Jane route. If I have disconnected, so like, of course, the military person is always within me and it's like built me in so many different ways, but now it's been years, you know what I mean? And honestly, looking back, do you guys feel like you've lived several lives within your lives?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like my
Every 10
past.
years is a new, so I forget who said this. I hate to cut you off, but this is relevant real quick.
What you're going to.
Yeah.
You're in your life, you're writing a book, right? So if you're reading a book, and you go from chapter to chapter, if you think about your life in terms of chapters, about depending on how old you are, like if you're younger, maybe every 5 years is a new chapter. When you get older, like every 10 years is a new chapter. But how do you write new chapters in that book of your lifetime that are fun and exciting? Because you wouldn't want to read a book and go to chapter 2, 3, 4 unless there was something exciting happening, unless there was something different. You felt like, so if you view your life like that, like what's your next chapter going to be? Don't just relive chapter 1 27 times or 87 times or whatever. Like write the new chapter. Anyway, sorry.
Well, no, I think that's my point. Where it's like I will always think back onto like the G.I. Jane chapter, but and maybe it's like the foundation of my new chapter, but like I don't think it would feel inauthentic. And one of my goals like is to 100% of the time be as authentic as possible. So I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
So let's talk about authenticity. What is something that is your most authentic self that talk us through that really quickly? As much as you want on open air, okay?
Yeah. Dude, I told you before, I legit am an open book, but I guess I'm just trying to understand the question. So, are you asking like when I'm most my authentic self, or
just what I'll give you an example so for me, authentically me is I show up to multi-million-dollar listing appointments in jeans, shorts, sometimes flip-flops, baseball hats. I've taken my dog to $3.3 million listing appointments, and they invited the dog in the damn house.
Love that.
So I tell people I'm going to be more casual because that's authentically who I am. I'm not the three-piece suit driving the Bentley, with a mortgage payment on 4 wheels. That's not my gig. I don't need to be bling bling bala bala.
Right.
That's like 1990s marketing. I'm sorry, it is. Being authentically you and being transparent is real, it's powerful, and people crave it because they are desperately trying to be authentically them as well. And you will encourage them by showing them if you can do it, then they can do it, and then they'll light someone else's candle, so they'll gravitate towards you because they're getting something powerful from you, and that's freedom. So what is your freedom button? What is your authentic asset that you go to, like where you're comfortable, that people can see the true colors who live underneath all the filter bullshit that we put into the world?
I think it's similar to yours in the fact that like I have the piece of shit car proudly. I'm gonna run that bitch till it dies. Like I am not materialistic. I think that I do have that G.I. Jane like back the vibe of like direct, no bullshit. Like
there you go.
All of those factors. And I guess that's what I'm saying is like I think that if I pulled from the military too much, it would become inauthentic. But I think I can pull parts of it. Yeah.
So I go overboard to let you come back to a medium, right? So if I say every time you get on social, you got to be wearing a military uniform, right?
Yes.
That's way over here, persona wise. You bring that and you go, okay, I like that idea. Maybe I'm not wearing a uniform, but maybe I'll start talking in military time, like low key, like little things, and maybe I'll start doing this little thing, right? Like I'm big on. I 100% am with you on. If you're the type of person like. We're very similar in the fact that you said something's got to feel authentic. I can't do something if it's not authentic. Greg's like that too. That's why we're all friends. Gene's like that. Like it's got to be authentic and real. So if you try to do something that you're not, and we fall into this trap too on social media, where Gene's coached people before, I've coached people before. If you try to be somebody different on social media than who you are in real life, you're not going to do video because it just doesn't feel right. So you're always going to feel pressure on the video. You're always going to try to remember like, oh, how exactly was I this person? So doing that is 100%. You have to have that authenticity. So just make it yours, though. I think, like if you look at my background, there's shit in here, right? Like I was an athlete. I don't look like an athlete now, but now I'm kind of reliving this through my kids and coaching, and like going back to the things that I used to do and instilling that in them. And so like you might not be in the military, but now you're in the chapter of your life where you're like coaching and you're pulling from elements of the military in this current coaching season, like I'm doing right now with my kids on my playing days. Yeah. It's very similar, right? So you're still a practitioner, you're still doing things, but pull those elements, but that's what makes you uniquely you, right?
Question in the front. Okay. So yes. Love pulling on the history and being completely authentic. My next piece that I battle with is ideally in social media, you have some sort of a target audience, right? You have like a purpose in your content. Avatar. So yes, exactly. So hypothetically, and especially all of us, we're onions, like we have layers, we have lots of different things. We're not, single faceted. And a lot of times the things that I feel most authentic about are not even just indirect to my target audience, but also possibly distracting. So do you guys on your socials, do you believe in sticking true to message as much as possible? Or how much do you deviate depending on what feels authentic in the moment?
I'm going to go to Gene, and then I have my opinion, but I want Gene and Nick to go, and then I'll wrap it up and go back to Shelby and see if kind of what you pull from each one of our tidbits and kind of what we think, and see if it resonates with you. Is that fair?
I love it. Yeah.
I do want to say that the line of the year so far on this podcast is we're onions, yo.
Oh my God.
I just do want to point that out. So
that's actually going to go in. That's going to go in the title.
We
We're
should
all
onions,
some of us are
onions,
woman
yo.
onions. We're trying to work on that, but yeah.
Perfect.
So I was like, wait, somebody can smell me? Okay. So
Through the screen.
no, I actually, my daughter just came in here. She goes, "It smells good in here." I said, "That's because I just showered for the first time in 4 days." So that's not true at all. So I think for me, I run in a different space than you guys. I'm not beholden to a license. I don't really give a rat's ass what people think of me because my tribe will find me. No matter if I'm being goofy or not. I don't do as much online from a video perspective as I preach, right? I'm one of those, like, sort of when I parent my kids, it's like, do as I say, not as I do. So I watch people do it, and I've seen both ends of that spectrum. Somebody keeping it all over the place with not one message and that failing miserably. And I've also seen the other side of the fence, which is they're so stringent on the same damn font and message that it doesn't work. Right. So I think there's a happy medium there. And the one thing I find to be super fun about marketing on social media, especially when it comes to video, is that to me, it's always been a science project. So I say when you're first starting, mess around with everything. The people that are following you will tell you what they want to see. And you'll be able to see that through. So like, let's say we go out and we're 8 personas in the next 4 months, right? So we let's say I followed you around with a camera, Shelby, for 4 months, and I got you at your pints and properties, and I got you in your GI Jane thing, and I got you with
CrossFit.
your husband doing something at home, and I got whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I got all these, and after 4 months, we took a look at the analytics, and it was you and your husband that got the most reaction. All right, so now I come back to you and I go, we pivot. Mm-hmm. What was it that you guys were doing that caught so much attention? Were you at the dog park? Were you guys fighting over something? Were you in business? Like, what was that? And let's figure out a way to recreate that and tell the story. Because the people that are watching told you by using their time and their like button that of your content, that's what they wanted to see. So for me in the beginning, I don't know, because I don't know what your audience and your following looks like yet. 1, 2, I don't know what they want out of you yet. When we figure those 2 things out, that's where I would either say, stick with the logos and colors and be straight line, or they like when you're a little goofy. Let's get further off to the goof side. You know what I mean?
True that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelby, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you just something jump out at you right now that kind of sounds like you could follow that advice?
Yes. So I took notes on a bunch of this, and I like what you're saying, Gene. The only, the person inside the objection, devil's advocate, is like, if I'm letting them choose, then am I being authentic to me? And I get the point is, like, we have multiple layers. So, like, in theory, all the layers are authentic, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. That was just the thought that I was wrestling with in that moment.
No, I think that's a great objection. I think that's fine. And I would say this to you, the 2 things. One is, when I tell my clients how to practice the video, I think one of the barriers I take away is how difficult it can be when you're trying to create video around something that doesn't exist today. What I mean by that is, these guys will tell you, this is how I go out, right? I have a business meeting later. This is the shirt I'm wearing. I have my Lululemons on and my Jordans. I'm not going somewhere with a suit on.
Did you just say Lululemons?
He said Lululemon.
Okay. Lulus are great. Yeah, they're amazing,
day, bro. They're my joggers. I wear my joggers.
Gene's bougie as fuck, bro.
Listen,
guys
you don't
didn't
even
know.
about it. Yeah,
dude. Once you go Lulu, you will never go back.
100%. I'll take a full body for you today, Greg. I'll show you what the gear looks like.
Please don't.
I will. No, you're too late. You got it. Too late.
Oh,
I need a larger than. I need Lou and Lou, not Lulu, because they just don't go up to my size. But I
Lou and Lou. It's a new brand born on the show.
You screwed me all up now. You took me way off my track.
Sorry.
But no. But so I think, so what I was saying was, like, let's just say we were going to go out and create 8 different Shelbys, right? We're not creating anything. What I always tell people is, I want you to do what you do every day, except start doing this and hit the button, right? And for the people that can't see me, I just want you to do what you do on a normal basis and hit the record button. So it's not, no matter what the audience picks. So let's say we do 8 different I'm making this up, right? Like we do 8
Yeah.
different shows. We do 8 different shows over the next 4 to 6 months. I want those people to pick a show. Just think about ESPN. If they had 6 shows on and 2 of them were bombing miserably because the audience hated them, they would take them off the air.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not asking you to be inauthentic whatsoever. I still want you to do what you normally do. But the purpose of putting that stuff out is so that people will watch and glom on to what you're doing. And then hopefully, let's just talk about the whole thing from soup to nuts. You want them to buy from you at some point, right? That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So if they're saying to me, I'll buy from you if you continue with these antics and it's part of what you do on a normal basis anyway, you're not being untrue to yourself.
Very true. I have so many follow-up questions, but also, Greg, were you?
I love it.
I want to build. I got some building blocks for you for this, right?
Okay.
To kind of back up what Gene's talking about, because he's 100% correct. But
Yeah.
to give you a mental mind frame that might help you even more, right? So the struggle right now that I'm hearing is Shelby has different audiences, and I don't know how to properly percolate and or build multiple audiences at one time. Because I'm doing real estate, I'm doing investing, I'm doing coaching for real, like all these different things, right? So instead of thinking about one avatar, which is I see a lot of people doing that, there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you're first starting out and you don't have anything established, you're not in the newbie category. You've done shit. You've accomplished shit in multiple different verticals. So instead of trying to rework your marketing or reframe your marketing to fit what would be normally a newbie marketing, you need to start thinking about yourself as a category. Okay. So
That's a good one.
instead of Shelby, the real estate agent, and Shelby, the real estate investor, and Shelby, the real estate coach, you are Shelby Real Estate. Your channel, your category, and like so Gene said ESPN, you subscribe to ESPN Plus because you want to know all sports. Do you watch soccer? Maybe not. Do you watch football? Yes. Do you watch like all these different programs on ESPN, the sports category? So if you think about yourself as Shelby, the real estate category, and now you have these different channels of content that people will resonate with. So as a whole, and I live this right now. I'll tell you a perfect example. So I've been on the Real Estate Uncensored show for years with these guys. I've had a real estate team since 2005. My friends and family will see this on their newsfeed. They'll see Real Estate Uncensored. Every week I pop up as a show, Real Estate Uncensored. I will get phone calls from people saying, come list my house. I haven't been an active agent for over 10 years.
Yeah.
But they see me on a show that says real estate, and in their mind, I'm the real estate category guy in their life, whether it's real estate marketing or real estate sales, right? So you can do the same thing. You are a category, and within that category, you have several different niches.
Yeah.
One niche is residential real estate, selling homes to people in your neighborhood. One niche is real estate coaching, selling stuff to real estate agents who need help building their teams, investing, and so forth and so on. But if you have that overarching framework, it's much easier to come on and go, okay, today it's 1400. What show am I going to be on today? It might not be for everybody, but so when you have that framework, then all of a sudden you create the lead magnets on the back end, so that when you are doing that show on that channel at that time, that person that's listening that's interested in investing is going to go just to that investing lead magnet. And then now they're categorized in your database as these are investing people. And now you communicate to them just on investing, which is what it's important to them. But you're not trying to qualify those people at the top of the funnel. That happens after they're already in your world. That's all I got.
And we've left the guest speechless. Even
No,
though
I
she's
have one more
accomplished-
question.
God damn it, you missed my good rant for you. Okay, go ahead.
No, okay. So love, I got it. Shelby is ESPN. Got it.
Copy.
Within that, in your opinions, do you think that it's okay to, because I'm very passionate about like efficiency and fitness and like optimal human performance type of thing, like sleep, food, gym, also like the right activities to make you, do you think that is also, can I encompass that within my ESPN?
Why are you passionate about that stuff?
Oh, because, well, I'm just obsessed with being the very best that I possibly can.
Why?
Do we want to, I don't
No. So it all leads to what though? the North Star of the performance of your business or businesses. That's just business in general. So like people that get into business, they think it's about business, and then you get into business
So personal.
and establish business, you realize it's about you.
100% agreed.
And so people on that journey will understand that, and depending on where they're at on that journey will depend on where something that you offer might be attractive to them. But that's business and personal development are peanut butter and jelly.
Okay, so
right, so that's not deviating. That's not another channel. That's the same channel, but it's the same channel with the North Star. So like, I mean, I'm trying to think of like,
we got a bunch of different analogies going, dude. I'm with you though.
On the ESPN theme, like of a reactionary show. So like, you have the performance of like the Pat McAfee show, right? Their antics and hygiene, or not hygiene, but like
sometimes hygiene too.
Yeah, sometimes hygiene, but like reactionary style show based on things that have happened. So like you could have a show talking about your personal development based on your experience in business. So like, okay, I do all these things in my personal life because of all the things I got going on in business, and it's still the North Star. It's still referencing why, but it's a totally different take.
Yes.
Right. Jim Rome's take on what happened Friday night. It's a totally different take than Pat McAfee or
and you want to go further even. 30 for 30 is a documentary, right?
Right.
And then you got this, and then you just have the news, which is the ESPN Sports Center. So you got those three avenues on the same channel.
But it's all the category of sports.
Yep.
Why do you believe in eating right? Because I want my business to grow. What business?
Okay, I got it. So, business, right? So we're keeping the business as the North Star. And then as long as I can do literally anything else in my entire life that I'm obsessed with and just tie it back to the direction of optimizing.
Well, because that's why you do it, though. That's the reason, right?
Well, wait, I want to put one more thing on top of that because I think you hit a good point. I think if you put out to the world that you're doing all these things for yourself so your business is better, you're going to look like you're selfish. So what I would do is, what's the focus or the mission of your business? To put people in better places? That's what it's about, right? Your business is the vehicle to get people into their homes and into legacy wealth,
I like that.
Right? So the reason why you have to work out is because you can't serve that mother of three and get her into the best home for her and her kids. Forget the business part of it. That stuff falls into place if you're not in the best shape of your life, right? So if you're just like, the North Star is I'm making money, that doesn't look as good as
not enough.
To help. You know what I'm saying?
Bigger. Yes.
Yep.
Also, is this how the show normally goes?
No, not at all. We totally derailed.
This is 100% hard left.
Dude, I fucking love it though. I'm having so much fun. Are you guys? You're like, we need to try again. This is 100%. Fucking terrible.
You literally have two of the best marketers in the real estate business, like just bombarding you with ideas. And trust me, I've used their ideas and they're phenomenal. Actually, as we were talking, the reason I'm looking down, if you guys are actually watching this, is I'm actually taking my notes and ideas, and I just uploaded to YouTube one of my videos I shot today about a local park that I talked to you guys earlier about in pre-show. And then Gene just gave me 4 ideas with my new Hollyland mics that Gene told me about. I am now, and this is something that came to my mind, I'm going to go out and stay true to me. I like to do interviews. So I'm going to take my Hollyland mics. And as soon as I see breaking news in the real estate industry, I'm going to read an article really fast. I'm going to get out to the street and get like as many, like 4 or 5 interviews and pick the best one and then post it up out there talking about
There you go. Gene's getting an affiliate link for these.
Here it is.
Microphones.
This is. Hey, Gene, here, show them again. Now you're on the full screen. These are the Hollyland Lark M1 microphones. The Hollyland Lark M1 microphones are 119 right now. I got them for 109. They're generally 150.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Terrible name. Terrible name.
They're shut up. They're fucking awesome.
Anyways, dude, you should get an affiliate link.
The Lark microphone.
The
Lark M1.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get back to our wonderful guest.
Yeah, by the way, just tell the people I don't make any money on that. I'm just sharing with you what I bought. That's all.
And it's a phenomenal thing, but that's my thing. I go out there and do these videos. But what got you to that success prior to doing the videos, prior to finding out kind of what your true North Star might look like when you were, kind of just getting started? What was that driving force? Was it that you were the primary bread owner for the household and I'm making things up as I go here? Did you want to repay some debts? Did you just want to be number one? Were you bored sitting around the house? Did you want a challenging opportunity like in the military to never hear the word no? What was that thing that got you up every morning when you got kicked in the teeth and then kept going again? Because that's the real driver.
I have thought about that a lot, and it has changed over time. I actually am much more chill is probably the wrong word because I don't think many would describe me as chill
No.
than I used to be. So it was a mix. It was a mix of like, I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder where I was getting out of the military and lots of people were saying, you know, everyone's a real estate agent. Like you're going to be a slumlord. Like this will never
Oh
work.
God.
So there's like that. And then also just like a lot of fear of failure. Like I've been a high performer my whole life. I was a competitive gymnast and, you know, have always been successful. And so like I didn't want to go out and fail. And so I refused that. And then also like just money in general, you know, you're used to every 2 weeks, no matter what fucking happens, you're going to get that paycheck. And then to go to a commission based industry, which is like terrifying, but also amazingly like so much opportunity, you know, so it was kind of like a perfect storm in those different ways. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it 100% does. And you know what? The answer is going to be 100% the same. And that's why everyone can pull little pieces from everybody's kind of reasoning why to push forward on everything. Mine, I was down to $35 to my name. I didn't have a pot to piss in. Nobody did around me. And I had to miss bachelor parties. I couldn't afford. On my birthday, my car died and my mom came down for my birthday present at 5 something in the morning, had to split a new battery because I couldn't afford it. She had to split it on 3 different credit cards, guys. Talk about making you fucking cry as an adult human baby boy. You know, when your mama has to save you at 6 a.m. and split it on 3 cards. And that killed me watching her cry, you know, quietly pulling out the 3rd card. I said, fuck this.
Yeah.
And I went after it. And so that's what I want to kind of pull out of this.
Yeah.
Please.
In the military, there's a lot of restrictions. Like you can't go out of a 250-mile radius without requesting permission. You know, you can't. There's time freedom is lacking, and also just like freedom in what you do with your life, even though you're a grown-ass adult. So a lot of that's why I got bit by the investor bug, is because, you know, you listen to some Bigger Pockets and you read some Robert Kiyosaki, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I have to fucking play real life Monopoly, right? If I'm ever going to be free. So I think it was like fighting that those restrictions and knowing that I didn't want to live like a life like that again is also what fueled me.
I love that. You knew pain, you went away from pain versus towards pleasure. That's what I've heard. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. I want a different version of that. So we're about 48 minutes into this right now. Let's do some
best
quick
time ever. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coaching session right now, live fire.
Yeah.
For Mr. Nick Sakis and Gene Volpe. Guys, let's do some quick takeaways, some final thoughts, and then Shelby, I want you to come out and just kind of give us some of your final thoughts, takeaways, what you took away from this. If you think we're batshit crazy and you're going to burn this recording, or if you're going to publish it and send it to everybody for Christmas presents. I don't really care, but I hope the latter is true. Mr. Nick Sakis, takeaways, please.
Well, we titled this $1 Million Systems and Implementation, and I think Shelby is the driver, like just not taking no for an answer, implementing, keeping your head down until you look up and you go, oh shit, I am successful. Right. I like that. We talked about a lot of things that can make her better and shine brighter, but she's already shining bright right now. The one thing I didn't hear, I know we're wrapping up, but like she mentioned the real life monopoly and investing right now. The one question I do have for you is, are you still investing in this market? And what would you give advice wise to people who are thinking about investing or whatever? Like, do you have a coaching program or a class, or like, are you just telling people to go to Bigger Pockets, like you said, or what's your investing look like right now?
We have an investor mastermind that it's a subscription based. There's training and courses, like the whole thing. But what I say is, I'm not going to tell anyone to do something that I'm not personally doing. So I'm never going to say don't invest. But in my experience, I got in the end of 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 was the last time that I acquired for hold. You know, after that point, I spent the next year refinancing, getting really low, stable 30-year fixed mortgages, and then doing flips, just because it's so hard to go from, you know, buying properties pennies on a dollar to going to it's a fucking madhouse. Like it's madness. And then the high interest rates on top of it. And what I see on the internet actually drives me crazy a lot of the times, because people are like, oh, cash flowing properties. I'm like, bitch, I bought my shit in 2018 for half of what you did. And I know what it actually looks like. And I know all of the expenses and I know the realities of being a landlord. So the shit that I see online actually pisses me off a lot. Hey, more social
Wait, so you
media
should
content.
just call people and ask them to take over their mortgage payments?
What's that?
I said you should just call people and ask them to take over your mortgage payments. That's the
No.
newest trend, right?
Oh,
The gurus
no.
out there of
That's for
subject to is the new TikTok.
Yeah, I feel like yes. Sub 2's for sure. I'm not giving up any of the ones that I have now. But to loop it back to your question, which I believe was what are you doing when people ask you for advice on investing? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Are you current? Like, what do you? I mean, you kind of summed it up, right? The market's crazy.
Market's
the
crazy.
frenzy. But like, so I guess the main question was, are you still investing right at this second, or are you pausing and kind of taking a breath?
I am optimizing everything I have.
Yeah.
So, and that's been kind of my thing now for a couple of years, where I am not acquiring new, but everything I have, I'm lowering expenses as much as possible. I'm getting in real deep with all my property management to make sure that I stay on top of anything that would become deferred maintenance, pressing the rental rates as much as possible. So just like factors like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Getting lean and mean is what you're
Damn
saying.
right. Yes.
I like that.
Badass. All right, Gene, some takeaways. Let's go. What you got, brother?
Yeah, just a quick thought. I like I'm a huge fan of Shelby's want for more knowledge. I appreciate that. I like the fact a lot of people come on here and they're like, buy my book, buy this, do that, come here and check me out. And I think just watching you with a taste for more information and how to just sort of like getting lean and mean, streamlining what you're doing and making it better. I think that's good, and that's going to be one of the major reasons that you're successful.
Thank
you mean you really hear that, right?
Do I hear that?
Yeah. No. I hope you really heard that, because that's a really powerful statement you just made, Gene. Shelby, just keep kicking ass and taking names. I love the fact that you're an inspirational figure, and I don't know how powerful you're going to be as you keep growing. You're young, you're driven, you're successful. You're a lady, so it means a lot of younger ladies out there are going to be looking for some sort of a role model, because this is a pretty much a male dominated dude environment, sometimes, and the ladies are the ones who really sell a lot more, and they're intimidated. Not everyone, all right. Keep your panties out instead of being in a bunch. I'm just saying, sometimes it's a mental, just a mindset.
Greg is about to get canceled. We're on the verge of cancellation right now. The next 2 minutes will be a really good gauge.
What I'm saying is this.
Dude, I got the thickest skin.
See, thank you. What I'm saying is that she can go out there and she can inspire people. There's a couple of folks. Ashley Hoocher. She's an agent with me. She was a younger agent. I trained her. She's just exploded through video. Stevie Hahn's a good friend of mine in Florida, in Jacksonville. She's exploded using video. And these two girls were petrified of it. You're already over that. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. So just keep rocking, keep inspiring people. We're going to have you back for you to coach us next time instead of us coaching you.
There you go.
Or you can come back and just tell us how well you did with all the free coaching you got. Either way, we want you back.
Perfect. I'd love to be back. This has been super fun.
Good. All right, boys. We didn't ask that. Shelby, what her takeaways were.
What my takeaways were?
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway is that I need to go and do some thinking on everything that you guys just said, which I took a bunch of notes, and decide what I want to do and just start fucking doing it. Because I know video, like everyone's been talking about video, and I will do it sometimes, I'll fall off, but like I need to wrap my head around everything that you guys just said and like completely buy in and believe, and then just fucking execute.
Yeah. There you go. There it is. That is the attitude of someone who does not hear that pesky word no in her brain at any point. All right. Well, let's leave it there. Gene and Nick, colors for the bow on the show, please. Nick first. Give me color, baby.
I mean, we got to go like army green, right?
Yeah. Love it. And then, Gene, what's a color for you on the show?
Black goes with the army green pretty well.
I love black.
I think it does. That's kind of, there's that color blend right there. All right, Shelby, thank you so much for coming on. It is such an honor to have you on. Thank you for inspiring a lot of the folks that are out there that are looking to get some sort of regiment into their lives. You are a real life living human being that has done it already. Guys, if Shelby would just might spend some time with you, so go follow her on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else. Get into her world. If you guys are looking to do investing, get in and start being a part of her investment portal. And that's 5 Pillars. Is that correct?
Yes. So 5 Pillars is our community of agents. And then you can find me at The Shelby Show on Instagram. And we just started a podcast, so theagentgoldmine.com.
If you're ever looking for good, co-hosts or helpers or guests,
on my list.
We would love to come over and help you.
Oh, I'm actually also co-hosting Real Estate Rockstars. Do you guys know Real Estate Rockstars podcast?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I get to pick guests for next week where I get to go by myself. So I guess one of you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how that would work. I'll talk to you guys offline.
We gotta fight for it.
Oh my gosh.
There or right over there. Any of those two guys are amazing. Hey, that's a great opportunity. You guys tune into that one. Real Estate Rockstar is a great show. Here's Shelby then again there. And thank you guys for watching and listening. I love you to pieces. We're putting an army green and a black bow on this show. Make sure to share it. Follow us. Each one of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I don't have Twitter.
YouTube.
And YouTube.
YouTube.
I would never forget about the big YouTube. But guys, keep watching, listening, sharing. We love you. We cannot do this show without you. So we appreciate you more than you know. Have a blessed and powerful day. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.